problems with females. Coming off too strong and waiting too long to move on and save myself a heartache. Cupid gave me a couple of coupons and told me not to choose a chicken head with Jimmy Choo's on. It's a new day, women want Louis Vuitton, basic necessities. You heard that Gucci song, and if she do me wrong, I keep it moving on my quest to find love. Still burning till my doobies gone. I'm lost in trying to find my root, but my thoughts only inspire me to find my roots, and my conscience won't allow me to shoot. So I only value time in the booth, if that's fine by you. True, I'm trapped in my reality. When I look in the mirror, there's a bastard staring back at me. The last chance of happiness for my family, cause mama's getting older and it's bringing out the man in me. I wish it happened sooner, cause every afternoon I realize another day is passing, that I lack improvement. I think I'm losing it. Homies asking what happened to you. This concrete rose turned into a black petunia. I guess that's how it's supposed to go. Fuck being emotional, I'd rather braggadocio. Drowning my emotions till I overflow with doper quotes. So take a hit of this and pass it off to so-and-so. So puff, puff, pass, puff, puff, pass. Are you high enough? I'm just getting fired up. Puff, puff, pass, puff, puff, pass, puff, puff, pass. Are you high enough? I'm just getting fired up. And the song is loaded out. I'm in it for the win, cause these L's ain't doing shit. I guess I've grown used to it. And the song is loaded out.
I need no reminiscence of history. This the requiem for them hard times. We crush up mad trees and this memory trips down memory lane. Keep me steps ahead of them. I'm heading in the direction of anything that's elevating them. That's why I'm writing through the night. And mama, when your sun shine, they ain't gon' ever take our light again. Overpriced tastes, we been hungry, we overdue. Watching gangsters in the tube, living like they showed me to. New Jack City, so the whole clique paid in full. No cinema, but it's coming soon. I slow never, it's no wonder I'm in front of you, yo. I rap circles round the globe like the sun and moon. Blessed, I was the son of a jewel, and the world knew. He only kept the gold wrapped round his tooth. Proof, damn, why did the good die? Damn, Pop, why you leave at 49? I'm graduating at 53. You should've held up. Still thinking about what my seed was gonna call you. Granddad, grandfather, papa, reminiscing, riding shotgun, listening to Big Papa. You see, daddy was a street scholar. I guess them knife wounds was pneumonic. My mama looking at me like the new monarch. I'm hearing her, that black king make Brooklyn look like Nigeria. Puff, puff, pass. Are you high enough? I'm just getting fired up. It's like puff, puff, pass, puff, puff, pass, puff, puff, pass. You high enough? I'm just getting fired up. The song's on the
but it's all good.
Back in this thing. So what I was saying was, I was asking about, your studies in regards to like the Medici and the Orsini families that are basically the black nobility that have been around for 2,000 plus years, and how they're even, more powerful than the Rothschilds, some people say, and other people are like, no, that's false. The top of the pyramid is the black hats are the J's. There's no one above them. And then some research shows that there's, black nobility of the Orsinis that could be the Gray Pope and whatnot. What's your thoughts on that?
Rothschild, this is Planet Rothschilds. This is Planet Rothschilds. It's not just the Rothschilds. I mean, you have to take in consideration, the Jesuits. They figure into this bad boy, in the Vatican. You got the Royal Palace, the Queen. This cabal, man, it's several of them. It's small, compared to us, but it's several of them. The families, the ancient families, the J families, the Sassoons, the Rothschilds, of course, they had this bad boy. This is Planet Rothschild. And there's a couple of other J tribe families too in so-called Middle East. Yeah, the so-called Middle East. You got the Saudis as well too. So when it when it comes down to like who really like runs this bad boy, it's like a corporation, man. It's like shareholders. There's a table, there's a round table, and then you have the chairman, and without a doubt, it's the Rothschilds. But it's just not them alone. You see, the Rothschilds,
Right.
the Rothschilds, but you also got the Saudis too. The Saudi, a lot of people trip on that Rothschild Saudi connection, but that goes back to conversos, don't they? You see, the facade, wearing the facade of so-called Middle East Muslim, but your J tribe, and that goes all the way back to Frankism, Sabbatianism, Satanism. It's pretty intricate, man. It's pretty deep, But to help people out, people who are just now coming into this knowledge here, I focus them on the Rothschilds, because planet Earth is, is planet Rothschild. They have the majority stake, and they're the ones, pulling the strings on planet Earth. The wars, like Israel's like is that's just like headquarters for them. The whole earth is theirs. And they're pulling the
Right.
strings from Israel. Man, you do the research, man, you find out, man, that the Rothschilds through Israel is who created South Sudan. When you hear about the civil war in the Sudan over there, man, that's Rothschilds, man. When you deal with, we were talking about Iraq earlier. When you talk about Iran, the Iraqi Iranian war, that was Rothschilds. Through Israel. They're
Right.
the ones pulling the strings, man. And like all these other families, man, like they're just making their money. But like the outright evil, man, that's Rothschilds. That's why Hitler went after them. You know,
Right.
they're like, look, boom, it's us. If you know better, and Hitler knew better and went after them.
Do you
Man,
believe there's anybody that's currently alive? Whether some people talk about JFK Jr. still being alive, Q all this
no,
shit.
no,
Like, do
no,
you believe
no,
there's
no,
anybody alive? And I'm not saying it's them, but do you believe there's anybody alive behind the scenes working to offset the dark side at all,
no,
or not at all?
no. That's a con job, man. There was a video that came out a couple of years ago, and a lot of people, man, were stoked about that video. And this person was talking about Trump and one of his sons being a time traveler, and just all type of stuff that sounded good, but nothing came to pass. Nothing. It was a con job. There is nobody working behind the scenes here on planet Earth. Now, I don't want to rule out the Galactic Confederation. That's celestial. But when you start dealing with things
Right.
of a celestial nature, you have to invoke them. They don't just intercede. Like the people of planet Earth have to invoke. It's like with the angels. They're on the scene, but you have to invoke them. You see. But when we deal with
Well, the
planet
Galactic Federation, don't they talk about like a shift in consciousness is coming, and they always talk about like the dark side will not
True.
be able to survive the shift, and because our Adinkra codes and our DNA are going to be unlocked, and that's why they're trying to vaccinate us so we won't have connection to the crown chakra and things like this. Like, if that's
True.
that, to me, that's the only thing that seems even lightweight plausible. Everything
Right.
else is like, bro, they got Mossad, they got CIA. If
Right.
there was anybody doing anything behind the scenes, they'd have sniffed that shit out years
No,
ago.
brother, it's not true, man. It's to dupe the people, bro, because the people have to have something to believe in, you see. But the solution is the people, and this is why I say, man, that like we're down. It's just the ankle is not broken, the leg is not broken. They're about to break that bad boy though, and it'll become permanent. It's us, bro. It's the American people, man. That's why so much is thrown at. I'm saying the American people, but of course, there's people around the globe. But as they know, United States of America, man, we have that leadership energy. We're a very unique group of people, a very unique nation, And that's in the history. That's revealed in the history. When you look at what this country did, 4% of the population overcame the British Empire for a while. For a while, like that's mind-boggling. Like they really freaking did it. Now, of course, they lost it. They used that traitor. He was a member of the J Tribe, Alexander Hamilton. And then we came up with the Constitution of the United States of America. We replaced the Articles of Confederation, which worked superbly. But in order for the Rothschilds and the king to get their property back, their property being the American citizens, in order for that to happen, they needed to undo the Articles of Confederation, come up with a new constitution that would allow them to get their property back through the Constitution using law. And that is the 10-mile square. See, when Great Britain lost, I should say England, when England lost her citizens, she got them back through the 1 mile square. See, England has something called the city. There's only 3 territories that operate like nations, because you can't have a nation within a nation, but there's an exception to the rule 3 times, and that's the Vatican over there in Rome, Italy, the city, which is in London, England, and the District of Columbia, which is the headquarters of the United States, Inc. Those are the only 3 sovereign territories. They're pretty much nations within nations. So the King of England used the 1 mile square to get his subjects back. They were free for a minute. They signed up for contractual citizenship. They became citizens of the city, and they lost all of their rights. Because that worked, they did it here in America with the 10-mile square. I believe that's Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of the United States Constitution. They did it over here. And we went from American citizens to U.S. citizens, basically employees of the U.S. corporation, located in what we call Washington, D.C. Now, we get confused because we're in the state of California, the state of New York, and the state of Texas. These are corporate franchises of the United States corporation. So if you're in California, you are an employee of the California franchise that belongs to the corporate United States. And that's the same for the other 49 territories. It's like Chevron Gas, McDonald's. They're all franchises. So they got us back through the Constitution, the 10-mile square. We're citizens of District of Columbia, also known as the United States, Inc. The United States, Inc. is not the same thing as the United States of America.
Right.
Totally different. Totally different. So we are now corporate entities, artificial entities, 14th Amendment entities, names spelled in all capital letters. Your driver's license is proof. Your social security number is proof. As a matter of fact, all of these things are proof of U.S. corporate citizenship, social security, driver's license. Oh man, it's a hell of a con job, man. And it's
So do you ever see a day when we reverse all that fuck shit?
no, brother, we're too ignorant. They got us on mandatory public schooling, bro. Before COVID, there was only 4% American students that were homeschooled. 9% were in private school, and 87% were in public school. Now it's changed. We have 10%, and we actually have more people in homeschool now than in private school. But we still got 80% that are under mandatory indoctrination. That's called public education. So what I want to say to the people is that there is that possibility, but we have to be realistic. They call Djehuty Mandaprod pessimist. No, I'm just pessimistic in my optimism. I'm very optimistic. I have to be. I choose to be. But I have to keep it real with the American people. It's a wrap. And it would take so much time to explain why. Look at it, brother. Look, we still have the Federal Reserve Bank. It robs us. It's still here. What are we doing about it? We're watching porn. We're busting nuts. We're smoking drugs. We're getting drunk. We're watching sports. We're playing video games. That's what the fuck we're doing. I gotta keep it real. You're not gonna overcome these people doing stuff like that. We're trapped on job. What happened during stupid 19, the PSYOP called COVID-19? What happened? People took a medical device out of fear of losing their livelihood. How the hell are you gonna go up against these people and you're dependent by the job? And these people are working for central bank digital currency. Now that's when it's going to be lights out. And like I tell people on my private forum, Life Mastery Forum, like I tell these people are getting ready for the final freaking blow. They've learned from COVID. They saw who bucked the system, who was in a position to not bow down. They learned from that. What are we going to do the next time to get those individuals who are mostly entrepreneurs? They're working on those people. And the laws are already on the books. The only news is law. The only news is law. Law is everything they do to us, they will do through the law. When they take your children, it's through the law. When they impound your car, it's through the law. They take your property through divorce, if that's the case, law. Tax lien, it's through the law. Everything is through the law. One of my favorite movies, 1997's The Devil's Advocate. When Keanu Reeves' character inquires of his father, Dad, why law? Why did you come back in the field of law? Told his son, it's the new priesthood. It's the ultimate backstage pass. Everything goes through law. Who did Jesus condemn in scripture? Woe unto you lawyers, for you have hidden the key of understanding. Come on, good brother. You go to court tomorrow, they will tell you. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. You go to court tomorrow, Yana, I don't know where do I go to look up this, what have you. I can't practice law from the bench. That's your duty to know. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. They expect you to know all law.
So let me ask you this. What do you think is you said it take days to explain where we're at, and I understand the problem is highly nuanced and complex. In as simplistic form as you can come up with, what do you see as the solution? Obviously, a powerful, intelligent leader is number one. But other than that, what would it take?
No, it won't be a leader because the Pleiadians told us that the age of the leader is gone. If you play that leader game, then you're in trouble. The American people have to become their own leader. You see, we're in the age of when the new millennium hit, we entered into the age of the organism, the individual, not the organization, not the leader. So it's an individual thing. See, when the FBI came after our group back in the early 2000s, they were stopping people on the way to work, mostly the females, and they were asking these women, who's your leader? Who's your leader? See, they always key in on a leader, but I taught those people well. We have no leader, and everybody knew that. FBI was on them all. Who was your leader? They wanted them to point me out as the leader, but I'm not the leader. We may meet at my place sometimes, but I'm no leader. See, now you got to go after all the people. There's not enough to arrest 300 million something people. So the American people have to become legally astute. You want the answer? The American people got to become legally astute. Because JFK, he showed us the power of these offices. Yeah, they're gone. We have criminals in positions of power. But why do you think people who are millionaires want to be in positions of power where the pay is only $400,000 a year, $200,000 a year? Why do you think they want those positions? Because the power is in those positions, man. The president only makes $400,000. That's nothing. And these men are millionaires. And they will spend millions on an office that pays them $400,000 or $200,000 a year. Brother, does that make any sense? No, it doesn't. So the power is in the position. The American people would have to become legally astute and carry through what JFK attempted to do. That's why his head was blown off. That dude said, listen, while being in the office of the presidency, he realized that that office was no longer used for the American people. And he said several days before his brains were blown out, he said, by the time I leave office, I intend to return it back to the American people. And if you know anything about JFK, he acted on his word. He's only under Dolph. You got to give JFK credit. He's only under Dolph. Trump cannot come close to JFK because Trump is in the back pocket of Israel. But JFK wasn't. He punked Ben Gurion. He punked Israel pertaining to Dimona. And of course, he paid the price. But the point is, he stood his ground. We can't expect one man to do that because they'll pull another JFK. The American people collectively have to do it. That's the only way.
So you don't think that with what's happening in Palestine and Netanyahu and all this stuff, you don't think that they've maybe shot their wad and exposed themselves too much, and people might, universally not support Israel? Like if they were to not support Israel at all anymore because they see the genocidal terrorists that they are and what they're doing over there, you don't think that there could be a situation where the truth bites them in the ass?
Nope.
You don't?
Nope. Because at the end of the day, Israel gets to get away with everything it's doing because of the United States of America, which is the only empire on planet Earth. Why do you think this country invests $1 trillion into military? The United States, sometimes I say United States of America, but it is Corporation US Inc. It is the only remaining empire on planet Earth, and there's never been an empire like her. She has 122 bases. She has nearly 1,000 military bases in 122 countries. All of this talk about China. China's no damn threat. Watch John Pilger's documentary, The Coming War with China. China's no damn threat. Watch Oliver Stone's The Untold or the Secret History of World War II. I believe it's the Untold History of World War II by Oliver Stone. Watch that documentary. There is no country/corporation on planet Earth that can handle the U.S. And the J Tribe know it. The J Tribe knows it.
And like we said earlier, if anybody were to come to the recognition in power that we're an occupied country, they just fuck up their own citizens, right? Do you think that that's highly likely in the event that people did become legally astute, like you're talking about, and understand the exact positioning that we've been put in?
That's the only way it would change. We would go back to the gold standard. We would get rid of or abolish the Federal Reserve Bank. We would return to smaller government. We would get rid of these alphabet agencies that we don't need. I mean, the U.S. has 16 intelligence agencies, man. 16. We don't need that. This is big government. So if we went back to the days of Thomas Jefferson, then the world would stand a chance. See, nobody's going to mess with Israel because of the United States. You see, the poor Palestinian people, you hear them saying, where are the Arab? How come the Arabs are not doing anything? How come the Muslims are not doing anything to help us? They know they would have to go up against the U.S. And they're not going to do it because the U.S. is gangsta. You saw what they did to my man Gaddafi.
Yeah, they fucked his shit up. Oh man.
You see what they did to my man Dolph? You see what they did to my man Chavez, Hugo? No, nobody's going up against the U.S. It's going to take the American people. The American people, they got to stop the porn, the masturbation, the drugs, the alcohol, the junk food, the sports, the video games, the shopping, the consumerism. They got to stop that shit. If not, it's a wrap. The American people got to stand their ass up and do it. All this talk about the government works for the people, and these people are doing whatever the hell they want to do. You got these people talking about we're going after the rich, and the threshold is going to be $600. The fuck you say? $600? If you're going after the rich, then the threshold should be 600,000. When you do 600, that's poor folks. That's
Right.
middle class. That's who they're going after. The law's already on the books. They got the BOE coming January 1st, the beneficial ownership information. They say, yo, Djehuty, what's up with that? I said, these people are coming for you. They're coming for the poor and the middle class. Because the corporations, governments, the hedge fund firms, they don't have to fill out a BOI, beneficial ownership information. That's only for the little man and the little woman. Because they're coming for you. They're taking it all. I mean, you've heard of this talk that you're going to own nothing to be happy. That's cold. They're coming for you. They're coming for us. Central bank digital currency. They're coming for us. You saw what they did to the truckers in Canada who didn't obey. So they froze their assets. That's coming. You're going to have a lot of that with central bank digital currency. When it goes digital, lights out. Read the book, Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars.
Yes, I've read that shit. That was a
Okay.
fucking crazy ass book.
That's
I
some
fucking
real
hated
shit,
that
though.
book.
That
That book fucked me up.
Hey,
I
that's
didn't
some
like
real
that.
shit. I got the documentary on that bad boy. Hey,
Oh.
that's some. But see, that's some real shit. Hey, that's a tight little pamphlet. I said book, but it's really a pamphlet.
Yeah, it's like in that shit you're talking about like all types of shit. Now you're talking about like
Yes.
they could even hit you with the frequency 5G towers. And
Yes.
these people that got the fucking vaccine in them.
Yes.
Next thing you know, they got the graphene oxide, the black goo that's literally an
Yes.
interplanetary substance.
Yes.
And they connect it to the 5G. They could turn you into whatever the fuck they want. That's why they got all this CDC zombie preparation guide bullshit.
Absolutely.
Because if it ever got to a point where they were, you know, being exposed for what the fuck is going on, if the whole world became knowledgeable like you and I are about these quote unquote conspiracy theories, they got two nuclear options without dropping a nuke. Number one, they hit us with an EMP, and in 6 months, people are fucking the most Christian people you ever met in your life are going fucking John Rambo on motherfuckers. That's number
Exactly.
one. Number two, they hit you with the fucking frequency weapon, and they say, oh, you know, something's going on. People are going crazy because you can't hear nothing. It's silent. But all these people that got that graphene oxide in them
Right.
are either going to react in like a zombie-like fashion, or they're just going to drop dead.
Right.
And so all these different, you know, like you said, silent war for whatever it is. It's like you remember Max Spears, right?
Mhm.
You remember Max Spears was talking about this frequency weapon that they're going to use in the future, and that we have to start speaking out before the frequency weapon is fully enacted. This is like 2016.
Right.
And then his mom says he dies and black goo is pouring out of his mouth at the dinner table. It's
Right.
like, bro, what the fuck you mean? This guy, I was like, this guy's an idiot. What's he talking about? Like this weapons and all this shit back in 2016. Then you read about how he died and you're like, wait a minute. His mom said there was black goo like coming out of his mouth at the dinner table. He just dropped dead one morning. No sign of nothing. And they're like, oh, how'd he die? Oh, suicide. No, motherfucker, there wasn't suicide. His mom said that there was black goo coming out of his mouth. So this shows you that, like, they have ways of literally fucking targeting you with this shit. They got 100 different methods. And so when I tell people
Right.
about these different things, they say, so what does it matter that you know all this? Why don't you just go make some more money and pay your taxes and do this and that? I'm like, dude, this has been going on for so long that before the internet came out, there was 0.00000% chance that the people could be educated enough. They didn't have enough time. Now with the internet at our disposal, ignorance is a choice. Everyone
Right.
chooses to be ignorant. There's, like you said, there's no excuse for not knowing certain things. And I don't know why God chose for me to have inclinations towards the truth. But when I was a sophomore in high school, the smartest kid in the whole school that everyone made fun of was the conspiracy theorist. So one day I went over to this motherfucker's house. I'm like, why does everyone make fun of you? He's like, because I'm smart and they're dumb. What makes you smart? He sat there and played a fucking 9-hour slideshow. I left his house at 5:30 in the morning. And I'm like, by the time I left his house, I was like, bro, I feel like I done acid. I didn't even do no drugs. I feel like I'm on acid. Like, you just debunked every single thing I believe.
Wow.
Everything.
Wow.
And so, you know, what you do, this space that me and you hosted earlier, like you're talking about a lot of things that we're just not properly educated on, from everything, from sexual health with the herbs to fucking understanding what went wrong with Dolph and how powerful fucking National Socialism is. Like, there's people that don't even know about National Socialism, but consider themselves intellectual.
Well, the public food system.
You're talking about the best system that any human being could ever live under, period.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, there's not a system that's ever been created for humans to be liberated more than that. And so people are like, no, capitalism, bro. It's all about capitalism.
No.
You haven't done your homework.
No.
Capitalism and communism, two sides of the same coin. Either way, we lose.
Absolutely. National socialism is the key. But the American people, the U.S. citizens, they have not learned that because of public school. These people don't know that they have the option to homeschool. Even in the states that go against it, the people of those states could shut it down using law. Because you tied into the First Amendment, freedom of religion. You tied into the Fifth Amendment, personal liberty. It's the law. I'm telling you, man, that the law. And look, I know it's a con. I know the Constitution is a con, but I believe in wisdom, which is the ability to live life skillfully. Yep. Now, I'm from South Central Los Angeles, got punked, by law enforcement. I didn't know no better, just paid the traffic ticket, just thinking that I'm doing the right thing. I don't want to deal with these people. And then I get into law. I'm like, holy shit. This is a con job. This is a scheme. Traffic, commerce. I'm not involved in no goddamn commerce. And so I'm pissed off now. So I learned the law. I start with traffic law, right? For most of us, that is going to be our first interaction with government, right? Especially the court system. It's going to be traffic court. So I started with traffic court. So I had to master the California vehicle code. And oh my goodness, man. And this is not even conspiratorial. This is not conspiratorial. Like, this is like in your face. If you read Title 18, United States Code, Section 31, subsection 6, right now, it clearly tells you what a motor vehicle is. And it is a motor conveyance used for commercial purposes, transporting persons and or property for hire, which means compensation. Come on, bro. Who's using their car to make money when they take their children to school? How's that making money? Going to work and parking your car. How's that commerce? There's no money involved. If you pick your friend up at the bus stop and take the friend home, all right, hey, yo, Drake, thanks for the ride. There's no exchange of money. So how does your friend become a passenger? One who pays to travel. Brother, it's mind-boggling. Like, you can actually go through the book and prove this fucking fraud. Now, I'm just one person. So when I go to court, they clear the court, and I'm the last person in court. Because they don't want anybody to hear what I have to say. Because they know what I'm about through the paperwork, through the legal pleading, which I taught myself how to do. So in 2002, when I go to court, they said, Mr. Mandaprod, how do you plead? I said, I don't plead. And of course, they pled on my behalf, which is what they'll do. Well, the court's going to enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. And they have to do not guilty by default. Oh, that's whatever. I'm playing the game. Okay, Mr. Mandaprod, your bill is $1,400. Objection. On what grounds, Mr. Mandaprod? Your Honor, respectfully, I've been cited with 4 infractions. California Penal Code Section 19.6 clearly states that an infraction is an offense not punishable by imprisonment, Your Honor. Even if I lose the case, I can't go to jail. So do you want to tell me what I would be bailing out from? I'm in court for an infraction, for 4 infractions, and you're talking about bail. Bail is legally defined as procurement for release of a prisoner. Your Honor, I'm not a prisoner. I'm in court. If I was a prisoner, I would be in jail or penitentiary. That sucker told me to have a seat. And within 5 minutes, a lady, the sheriff, tapped me on my shoulder and said, go downstairs and go to this particular window, which was closed when I got there. And I stood there for a few minutes. They opened it, on a little sticky pad. They gave me my trial date. And they said, no bail. Just come back for your trial. Because I exposed the fraud. This is anybody can do this. This is not conspiratorial. This is in the code.
Verbal Jew black belt.
I call it judicial Jeet Kune Do from my homeboy Bruce Lee, who taught me in the astral realm. And let me tell you, it works. So when you see me on X talking about life is beautiful, it really is. I put this stuff to work. You hear about men getting body slammed by women in family court? Shit, not with the Madra. And my case was like 4.5 years. Started off in her favor for 4 months, but Tootie Madra knows the law. I had a judge tell me, Mr. Madra, the court has some question about your corporation. Objection, on what grounds? The corporation is not an interested party. So this court doesn't have any subject matter jurisdiction. Shutting down, and that case, after 4 months, went in my direction and my favor because he knew I knew the law. And this is basic. Now, this is basic. Now, imagine if millions of us knew the law. We wouldn't need these goddamn attorneys because these attorneys are the ones who got us enslaved. They're the ones who make these bullshit laws. And half of them come from Israel. Israel has the blueprint, has a template. And the states just fill in state of Mississippi, state of California, state of New York. Israel is making our laws. That's why we have anti-BDS laws.
So do you see a day when it'll be illegal and like a lifetime jail offense to even speak out against the Jays in any way? Like I know they got shit like
coming.
that.
It's coming. I have the American Jewish Council dictionary of anti-Semitic terms. Rothschild is on it. Israel is on it. BDS is on it. Conspiracy is on it. Anti-vax is on it. We're moving in that direction. We are moving in that direction. And they're using the corporations, man. See, censorship, government is not involved in the censorship, not directly. They use the corporation. So during Stupid 19 that the people call COVID-19, the government used the corporations because that's what we work for. That's what we were dependent on. So the corporations told us to put the mask on, or you can't come into this facility. You can't come into this restaurant, the movie theater, the airplane, what have you. Corporations, baby, we're slaves to corporations. The government uses corporations to enslave us. Our dependence is on corporations. We got to go back. I'm always say we got to go back and do it how we used to do it. These cities have to shrink because we've left and gone back to the rural areas, the farms. See, when you was on a farm, you didn't have to worry about what we worry about in the city. See, the city is an open air jail, prison. See, but when you owned a farm, you didn't have mortgage. You didn't have light bill. You had candles. You had your animals. You had your garden. You were independent. See, government doesn't like that. Government doesn't want that. You see, people are bitching about 15-minute cities. You need to be bitching about the cities you're in right now. These sapsuckers can take us out at will through the water because we're dependent on that toxic water, the municipal tap water that we're taking showers in, gasifying ourselves, bathing in. Oh, the American people don't know. You got these 5G towers all over the place now. Man, the American people don't have a clue. The things that we're talking about, bruh, has been on the scene for a minute. When you see stuff in movies, man, the stuff is like 20, 30 years old. Right? People were tripping on Jamie Foxx, the recent, he's the most recent clone, well-known Hollywood clone. And so the people tried to come for me on X. And what did I do? I just listed all the movies dealing with clones. They went back to the 1970s. The first one was The Clones, 1973. And this was 2023. I think it was early this year. I'm like, that's 50 years. So if the first movie came out about clones in 1973, that means that they had them back in the 1940s and the 1950s. We are behind, beloved. We are behind. We are seriously behind. The only solution is the people. Not Trump, not a president, not the goddamn Senate, not Congress, but the American people. We outnumber them. Man, my partner Jordan Maxwell, man, transitioned with a broken heart. But he told me, it's the people. You're enslaved now because of the people. You bow down to 9/11. You bow down to the Patriot Act. It broke that dude's heart. I had never heard Jordan talk the way that he talked in our last phone conversation. And in that conversation, Jordan told me, he said it's over. Now, Jordan told me, he said it's over. His spirit was shot. But I'm like, Jordan, we've had so many conversations, and you were the one, you told me that the people would never roll over, the people would never bow down and take this, take that, and now you're talking about it's over. Why is it over, Jordan? He said after 9/11 and the Patriot Act, and we accepted that, it's a wrap. And I started to look back, beloved. I said, now the Federal Reserve Bank, we fell for that. The banking holiday, 1933, having to turn in our gold, the American people, they fell for that. World War II, Pearl Harbor, that got the U.S. into World War II, fell for that. And you just go down the list. Gulf of Tonkin, Vietnam War, fell for that. The Cold War, created by the J Tribe, we fell for that. You all the way up to 9/11, fell for that. Hurricane Katrina, fell for that. COVID-19, fell for that. So look at the pattern.
Well, people will call you crazy if you even mention Hurricane Katrina. Like, I was telling people about HARP, and they're like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And you realize that they could create a hurricane and fucking turn any single part of the country into beachfront property if they wanted to.
Absolutely. See, I don't really get what a lot of people say to a lot of people because I'm legally astute. So when people talk about, man, conspiracy, it's like, look, sapsucker, take your ass to California Penal Code Section 182 and read that for me. Because government is your God. They're like, oh, conspiracy. So why are you harping on conspiracy? Government acknowledges conspiracy. Government acknowledges conspiracy. Federal and state. So it's not conspiracy. The problem is conspiracy theory. I ain't dealing with no goddamn theory. I'm dealing with facts. Case law.